Hey, y'all, come on in to the Ashes to Beauty podcast. Welcome to episode 2, Faith Over Fear. I'm so thankful to have y'all here. I'm so thankful for everyone that commented and encouraged me on the launch of this podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, welcome back. Let's talk about having faith over fear. Now, I wanted to say my intention is to drop podcast more regularly than I have been. I went out of town last week to graduate from my second Christian life coach certification program. A huge shout out to Dr. Edie Wadsworth and the House of Joy podcast. Thank you so much for giving all of us an amazing time. So I was out of town. I tried to record an episode or two before I left, and there was a major internet network failure in our area, and I could not get technology to work correctly. So here I am. Here I am, and nothing has gone wrong, right? This is coming out in God's timing when it's supposed to be. Today's podcast is based on a listener question. If you are watching from YouTube, that is where the comment came from. You can also listen on Spotify or Substack. Apple is still in the works. By the way, if you are watching on YouTube, the video, you will often see my dogs. There's one of them right there. If you're not, go and Google Hungarian Vizslas and you can see what they look like. They're amazing dogs, high energy. Right now they're napping, so you probably won't see them hopping around too much. But anyway, the comment question from Reverend Sunshine was asking me, where am I at in my journey regarding water? Am I still afraid? Have I healed? If I have healed from it, what did that look like? And if not, where am I at today? And that is an amazing question. Thank you so much for your curiosity and just wanting to know my journey. I so appreciate it. Well, in short answer, I am doing amazing today in regards to water. Absolutely amazing. And it's only by God's grace. The healing came in layers. It didn't come overnight, and it came piece by piece, but it did come, and I'm so thankful. What I want to start by saying is I was extremely fearful of water after Ethan died. If you didn't listen to episode 1 and you don't know my story, I would encourage you to go listen. It's a quick listen, and it'll give you a little bit of background about our son, Ethan. But in a nutshell, he died in a drowning accident in a swimming pool. And after that happened, I was very, very fearful of a lot of things, most especially water. I didn't feel safe around it. I didn't want my other son, Evan, to be around it. The water could literally almost feel paralyzing at times. And can I say this? Of course it did. Of course it did. And I want to share that phrase, of course, with you, my dear listeners. Maybe you have something that you're afraid of. Maybe there's something that's really painful in your life or in your story or journey. And can we say to ourselves, of course, and give ourselves grace the way that the Lord gives us grace? It's a phrase that has really helped me. Of course, I'm having a hard day. Of course, fill in the blank for whatever is your circumstance. So I wanted to just offer that to you, dear listeners. As far as the healing journey, we moved back to Texas about 1 year after Ethan died. And right after we moved back, I enrolled Evan in swim lessons. Now, that was something that was hard to do, but I knew it was the safe thing and the right thing to do for him. And it was not easy for either of us. It was necessary. And I would say taking that huge actionable step, now that I look back on it, it was huge, was so pivotal. It wasn't the piece that created the healing, but it was part of the story, part of the layers of healing that had to happen. And so he stayed in swim lessons for a little bit, and it was really hard to be around a swimming pool, even at that point, but it was safe, right? I was there, I was watching him. There were people in the water with him that were excellent swimmers. And yeah, it was something that was very, very, very necessary. And so the next huge thing, I think God has a sense of humor, but he also knows what he's doing. He's very wise. This would have been 4 years later, 3.5, we got orders to Misawa, Japan, to Misawa Air Base. My husband was in the Air Force. And yeah, the Lord decided we needed to move very far away and by the water. We lived very, very close to the ocean. And of course, here's that of course again, I was very objectionable, like not wanting to do this, not wanting to move, not wanting to be near the water. Let me tell you how much of a healing balm that was to be near that water. The ocean was very different from a pool. There's the safety of the shoreline, and there's the sounds. If you've never been to the ocean, I highly recommend it. Just the sounds of the ebbs and flows of the waves and all of the seagulls, the sand underneath your toes if you go barefooted, which we did often, not in the wintertime, but we sure did in the summer and in the fall, and even not the spring really. It's too cold. It was such a healing journey for us. And a bonus was that, and by the way, we started going to the ocean very, very quickly after we moved there. I mean, within probably a week or less, maybe just a few days. We heard that Americans stationed there loved to collect Japanese glass fishing floats. And this became something that was really big for our son, Evan, to do this, to comb the beach and to find these. And y'all, on June the 5th, 2015, we had only been in Japan maybe 3 months, but June the 5th, that's the date of Ethan's death and when he went to heaven. Evan, our son, found his first glass fishing float. Isn't God good? So anyway, this became a big deal and a motivation for us to get out there. And we were out there a lot. It didn't matter if it was hot and sunny or if it was snowing. We were out there. And yes, it does snow at the beach. It does in Japan. Look it up. I have pictures that prove it. So that was a huge, huge part of the healing journey. After we left Japan, my husband retired from the military. We came back to the States. We bought a fifth wheel RV, a truck, and we traveled. And part of our travels, we kayaked. We kayaked in San Angelo, Texas at a lake. We also went on an amazing boat tour on the Missouri, just north of Helena, Montana. And it was a private boat tour. It was just my husband and I and Evan and our dog Petey that we had at the time. He's now with Jesus. We got to see bald eagles and ospreys. It was this amazing, amazing tour. And between that kayaking, which was super healing, and that boat ride, it was just that added layer of healing, a balm, a gift from the Lord. Him saying, you're safe. I've got you. You're healing. It was amazing. After we got done having our fun traveling, we came back to Texas and we settled in this house where you see me if you're on YouTube, or where you're listening, where I'm recording from this very house. And I very soon thereafter enrolled Evan in private swim lessons at the same swim school I had just mentioned a few minutes ago. And that was enormously huge, y'all. Shout out to Miss Melissa, who is the director of that swim school at the time. She met me and Evan in our need. She knew our story. She was compassionate and kind. Mr. Matt, Evan's swim instructor, was so good, such a blessing sent from the Lord. And Evan became a very strong swimmer. In fact, he joined the swim team at the swim school and he became amazing at the breaststroke. He won first place in one of his meets. Isn't that like God to do such a thing? And y'all, that helped so much. When we stay stuck, we stay in fear, whatever the hard is in our life, that's hard. It's hard to stay stuck in whatever it is that we are stuck in. It's also hard to go toward healing and restoration. And as I've heard it said by wise people before, choose your hard. Are we choosing to stay stuck and stay in our stories that don't serve us? Staying in fear did not serve myself, my marriage, my parenting, my life. But running toward healing and restoration served me and still serves me to this day. And friends, the healing and restoration is there for the taking. God is good. He wants to meet you where you're at and take you from the ashes of life to the beauty of His rest and His restoration. Now, I also want to share that I did a lot of mindset work too. A few years ago, several years ago, Dr. Caroline Leaf was pretty prominent out there in teaching about neuroplasticity, the ability for our brain to rewire and heal. And I really just poured myself into her books and into a program she had back then called the 21-Day Brain Detox. And it focused in on neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire and heal, which is very biblical. Romans 12:2, go look it up. We're supposed to renew our minds daily in Him, in the Lord, in His truth, and in His ways. And when we do that, we heal. Our thoughts get better, our feelings get stronger, and our actions become braver, and they serve us. And so I want to encourage you today, wherever you find yourself, that there is healing and restoration. Renewing our minds is the most brilliant choice that we can make. It's a brave choice. And I'm wondering, what will you choose today for yourself? I want to just say, God bless each and every one of y'all. And I will see you next time on the Ashes to Beauty podcast.